first confirmation as far as like the next bracket matches, as far as round 2, which is the Fighting Monks versus the Direwolves. So that's our first confirmed match in bracket 1. So anyways, grats to both of those teams, and it'll be a good match between the two. So let's go and focus on our next fight we got coming up. We have BlackStar Alliance versus Team 007. Let me go and get that info up for you guys.
Cool. So what do we know about these teams? Any insider info?
I played against HHoD many a time. They are HHoD 007 is a very prominent team. They participate in Merrick Civil War. I've played against them plenty of times. I don't want to tip their strats because I think I have a feeling I know what they're going to go for. But they're good at what they do. Both of these teams are pretty prominent jump snipers. I've seen them in the 12s queue a lot. I've run scrims with both of them. They're both very experienced in teamwork, so I think that it'll be certainly a good game, hopefully a fairly even fight. This is one of those matches that I looked at the bracket and instantly was excited for because I knew both teams and I knew their skill. So.
Now, jump sniping, we haven't seen a lot of that today, at least as much as maybe some people would think there was going to be.
Yeah.
You think we're going to see more?
Personally, that was sort of what I was expecting going into this. I was like, okay, we're going to see a lot of jump snipers, have lots of talking points about why this is good prepared so that you have lots of things to talk about during the downtime. But we haven't seen a lot of that. We've seen one team go for sniping and one team go for brawling most every match, or at least a variation of the classic meta. And so far, with a couple exceptions, the brawling teams, or at least the faster moving, more aggressive teams, it seems, have been the ones that have come out on top. And so it'll be interesting to see how this next game plays out. A lot of it I feel like does depend on mech choice and how you play with your style. A lot of people try and adapt their style to the meta instead of just creating something specifically unique that is their own, because that can be very, very powerful.
I agree. I mean, I think we can all kind of guess who we're going to see in the quarterfinals, semifinals, etc. Just based on
I don't know what you're talking about, man. Those games haven't been played yet.
They have not been played yet, but the point I was going to get to is that I still think we're going to see a lot of variation, and there's a lot of, coincidence or making the right move, making the wrong move, whatever, that could really sway matches either way, and I like that. There's that openness to something surprising us. So I'm appreciating all these matches so far. I've seen some really skilled teams, even the ones that have lost. They put a lot of hard work in, and it's just fun as these progress. And hopefully now we're going to see a different play style in this next match if these teams kind of live up to what they've played in the past.
One thing I will mention is that even when it comes to sniping, the more mobile team is usually going to win. And so for tonight, I think Antares Scorpions have been the best example of a mobile sniper team. And they did take the match versus Templars. They were maneuvering around and they were getting angles, and they were actually running ERPC Gauss, and they were totally not in the environment where they could take advantage of that, but their maneuver in snipers still won them that match.
Shoot and scoot, right, Phil?
Well, I was just going to say, I mean, we've seen the mobile teams, basically pull the wins, and, we use the term meta, but, I don't think we'll just see a Pop-Tart fight here. Honestly, even going further down the tournament, you see a lot of the top teams out there on the comp scene. They're aggressive. They're not just literally Pop-Tarts over the hill, just pew pew, jumping up and firing like on All Systems Nominal. They're usually shooting, moving, and communicating. Shoot, move, communicate. I mean, literally, just it's a. I see every single time. SJR is known for that as well. Jaeger is very aggressive in his tactics. But we have. A lot going on here, and just one second.
Ed, what about you? What do you expect to see here? Do you know these teams?
We got about 8 minutes, guys. They're getting in lobby. Just a heads up. Sorry, I was getting poked.
Cool. Okay, well then continue, Phil, and then we'll let Ed speak up.
I only played with 007, like Raffle said. I didn't want to give away any of their strats, but they execute pretty well. I'll just mention that much. So if they have their strategy and they stick to their guns, I think they can win.
Excellent.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a good match. I'm excited to see it. I know both of these teams have played together for a long time, so I think that the teamwork will be pretty high quality, and it should be, I'm hoping, a close match. Most of these matches we've had so far have been close. We haven't really had any 12-0 one-sided rolls or anything like that, which is nice. It's good to see good games.
Well, we got a lot of new faces, names in chat, so welcome everybody new. We've been doing this all day, and you know what? I'm not tired of it at all. I feel like I could do this 24 hours straight.
And let me just toss this out there too, is, we have the benefit of sitting and reflecting, right? And so when you're in these matches and decisions start being called, yeah, you got to listen to your DC. If your DC calls something and you all die, that's just how it is, but you have to follow through. So again, we have the benefit of reflecting and critiquing and stuff. So again, shout outs to everyone who plays, and for those who haven't participated in something like this, again, make sure to try and get in on the next tournament or into the competitive leagues. I think that's where you'll see some of the experience come out, is the teams that have already been under that pressure and know how to react. So just throw it out there. So shoutouts to all the teams that have played, win or lose. Literally, you've done more than, well, me and Darren have.
That is true. Yeah, I mean, you all props for even participating. We still have matches coming up tonight from BlackStar Alliance, obviously, Team 007, Smoke Adders, Black Sheep, Merc Corp, FWLM-MGA. Somebody want to explain that to me? Does anybody know? FWLM?
No idea.
Free Worlds League,
MGA.
and that's their... the Merit Gunfighters.
Okay.
Let me get confirmation on that.
That
But
works.
it's Free Worlds League, BlackStar Alliance.
Right. So we'll call them FWLM, still MGA, versus the Death Knights. That'll be the final match for tonight. And what is that, 11 Eastern or 11?
Merit Gunfighters Alliance. Duh. Yeah, I thought I had it right.
Yeah. So some good action tonight, and then of course tomorrow night we'll have some more teams lined up as well, or tomorrow all day. So we'll announce those at the end of the final match tonight.
Yeah, so we are just waiting. It sounds like everybody is getting into lobby, and we're just waiting on everybody to get there, getting their mechs, buy their modules, and ready up.
That's right. And if you're joining us and you're wondering who these people are, this is, of course, Phil and Darren from No Guts, No Galaxy, but we're joined tonight by Seriothrax and Raffle Waffle doing the in-game commentary, and Ed Meister from NGNG TV has joined us for a little flavor in between. So we want to thank everybody that is participating. Erodian is helping right now, Brandon, Catrikel, lots of people behind the scenes to make this all possible for you guys and look as cool as possible. Again, thank you, Far from Evil. So
tomorrow night's going to be a little bit easier, considering we don't have any matches during the day. It's all evening time, so make sure we'll have that information. But it starts at 7 p.m., so we'll kick things off around 6:45ish. Give you guys an up-to-date, bracket, and I think that's going to be up to date on their website soon enough. As well, may have to wait till tomorrow. I'm not sure. We'll reach out to IGP about that. They will be on vacation tomorrow.
Yeah.
Oh, you Canadians.
What holiday is it tomorrow?
The day after today.
I think it's
Holiday.
Victoria Day, I think, actually.
I believe that's correct.
Oh yeah, you're Canadian.
As somebody who actually lives in Vancouver should probably know exactly why I have the day off, but
I
not really
mean,
care
was
why,
hoping
I
you
just
knew.
do.
Okay. Again, we are waiting on BlackStar Alliance versus Team 007, both of which are readying up. I think they're in lobby now, and we're just waiting on the final steps.
Quick question for you guys. Any of you interested in the 600 drops? Because I am.
Yes.
600 ton drops. They're for those of you in the audience who don't know, the 600, when the tonnage is lower, you usually get into more agile mechs, which means a lot of brawling and movement. So you're going to see a lot more action going on in those drops.
Yeah, there was a lot of discussion on what the weight, maxes should be, whether there should be minimums, and what those would result in, and so forth. So it'll be interesting to see the difference in those matches and how gameplay changes We definitely wanted to see a lot of variety, or as much variety as possible.
Hey
I
man, if
think
someone
that
wants to
will
take
enable
12
that.
locusts and they win, kudos. Kudos.
Right. I think we might be getting some action going on. Teams are almost ready. Can you feel it in the air?
I can feel it come. Oh, nope, wrong song. Not that. That's not what we're going for. All right, looks like they are ready and they're about to launch, so we will be joining in just a second. They
Just
have
quickly on
launched.
Just quickly
Yeah.
on the topic of drop weights, there's actually only 2 weights for this tournament, 720 and 600. And this first one's at 720, second and third round are at 600, then the fourth and the semis and the finals are at 720.
Drop
That's
weight
correct.
sandwich.
All right, guys, take it away. Have fun.
Will do. All right. Trying to glance across the water and see who I have for each team. I believe... I'm not going to call it before I know. Hold on.
HHoD has or Headhunters of Davian, Team 007, has started on the upper side. I am seeing multiple Cataphracts, a couple Dragon Slayers, and some Shadowhawks in there. Raffle can get the exact count. And BlackStar Alliance has started on the low side, with what looks to be a similar loadout, but I will again defer to Raffle to cast this. Or
Yeah,
get the
it
exact
looks
numbers.
like we've got 6 Cataphract 3Ds from...
BlackStar Alliance.
Yeah, BlackStar has 6 Cataphracts, 4 Jenners, and 2 Dragon Slayers, whereas...
Worth mentioning that those Jenners are Jenner Ds with the 4 medium lasers and 2 streaks, so those are completely going to be for light hunting purposes. Other thing about them, they have additional module slots, and it's easier for them to carry 2 strikes apiece.
It looks like looks like 007 has in fact gone for an extra Dragon Slayer and a couple more Shadowhawks, but it does look like we have BlackStar, or BSA, BlackStar Alliance, is actually moving up through the caves. It looks like they're trying to come around, and 007 isn't prepared for this. They have a Dragon Slayer, a Cataphract, and 2 Shadowhawks completely away from their team, while they have a few mechs remaining jump sniping on Radio Tower, and BSA is about to move in. They've got 3 Cataphracts directly in behind them, and they're about to come out. It looks like they've seen it. They've turned around and are watching the exit, but this will be interesting. I don't know how this is going to pan out for either team. We've got the rest of the lights and the Cataphracts moving around, coming from the more open side, and it looks like 007 has just decided to bail off the top. They throw down an arty, they drop off ridge, and then now they're falling back, while BSA is actually moving in from their side of the map up onto Radio Tower and taking this jump sniping position. And this is leaving 007 out in kind of the open right now.
Yeah, if BSA can get that high ground while 007 is still on the run, it's going to be very good shots for them.
Oh, BSA isn't slowing down. It looks like they brought brawling Cataphracts, and they are pushing in, trying to take advantage of this main hill that is sort of splitting the army of 007. They're keeping their Dragon Slayers up on top to try and deal some damage, but they're really going for it here. In fact, they take the first kill, dropping one of the 007 Shadowhawks, pushing around the corner. Ooh, a nice arty strike goes down, takes some good hits, but in return, 007, I gotta stop doing that. 007 responds with their own air arty. It looks like we've got a Jenner from 007 trying to push in and do some harassment on the rear guard for BSA, and BSA has now taken down another mech for 007, and they're chasing him at this point. 007 has a couple mechs that are back in the back, a Cataphract or 2 and 2 Jenners, but they are being pushed out through the water, and 2 more mechs have gone down for 007 in this time. The first couple mechs go down for BSA, score 4-2 in favor of BSA, and this is a fairly well put together push by them. It looks like 007 is starting to get their feet under them somewhat again. They've got most of their heavy and assault mechs moving back from the shore, trying to get better lines, but the score is pulling away as 007 is down 7 mechs to only BSA's 3.
A question for you, if you can check this quickly before the match is over. Are all of the cataphracts on BSA's side brawlers, or are some of them snipers?
I'll check in on it right now. It looks like, yeah, these Dragon Slayers are taking the last of the damage they possibly can. 9 to 6, they have managed to take a few with them, but these, this is a very well orchestrated push. These cataphracts all appear to be AC-20 for medium laser, which is a very quick and potent brawl. It's very, very heat efficient, very fast. It's a good build. And now the last mech for 007 is being focused down by BSA, and the last Dragon Slayer falls, and BSA takes this match. Good game.
That was entertaining to watch.
It really was. It was a very well put together push. They put those few mechs in the cave, and I think that 007 saw that and sort of dropped down, fearing that push from a bunch of mechs out of the cave, but then they came up from two sides, and instead of stopping to take that ridge to keep sniping, they just kept rolling with those brawling cataphracts.
And I actually really like their choice on the Grenadiers, because if it goes to a fast game, like it did, then they can just sick those Grenadiers on the lights who are trying to harass and slow it down, and force the enemy lights to run. And it also cleans up one of the major problems for them in the late game, which is what we saw on the Death Meta Band versus, the Sky Rangers, where if you leave the lights too healthy at the end of the game and you have brawlers, they're going to be picked apart and kited a little. And so they already had the answer for that. And if it had gone to a long game, then those Grenadiers carry the few extra strikes that may be necessary to tip the attrition war in their favor.
Yeah, it was a fun match to watch. Darren, Phil, what did you guys think?
Yeah, well, I'm still catching up visually, but, as far as listening to you guys, that sounded like a much faster-paced, action-packed match. Teams that obviously have been on the battlefield before and took right to the fight. Sounded good. Still watching.
I was going to say, from the top-down perspective, the push from the caves, I think it did catch, the team a little off guard. I don't think 007 was quite... obviously, when they... someone had seismic, I think, and that tipped him off, because no shots were fired before they knew they started turning around. So either someone had eyes on the tunnel and or seismic, but they weren't able to really ever regroup. And I think that was BlackStar just putting on the pressure. It was very similar to what we saw earlier with the one of the Russian teams. They knew they had the upper hand, and they just pushed it. I do not think they were expecting the cataphracts to have close range setup either. I thought, seeing the Dragon Slayer setups, that they were going to be long range, AC5s and peeps. But again, I think it was a good use of momentum. They came out of the caves, they took a target out shortly after, and then they just started whittling down targets. And then obviously with the Jenners, Siri, you made a good point. If it would have went long term, they didn't take a whole lot of damage, and they were being smart. Now, we've got another confirmation on another match. You were just talking about Antares' Scorpions. They've now got a matchup against BlackStar in round 2. So BlackStar versus Antares Scorpions. That'll be a very good match.
I am very excited for that match, actually. I think that'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah, one of the more aggressive brawling plays we've seen against one of the more maneuverable sniper plays we've seen. So that'll be on Frozen City at 600 tons, not quite as heavy, so we'll see how that shapes up.
It'll also be interesting to see how, if people change their playstyle, if they try and keep the same things that they've been going for, or if they shift into a different style of mech or build, or even just entire composition. The thing that's fun about this tournament is I think we're going to see a lot of pretty good storylines where we see teams emerge that we didn't necessarily think were going to take certain games that end up doing really well for themselves.
Now, one thing I noticed right off the bat, is in this match, more red smoke. Seemed like a lot more compared to earlier matches.
These two teams have played a lot
of competitive matches.
a lot of. They know the.
They
power.
know the value of the potential sheer damage that constant strikes can do.
That
Yeah.
the little strike icon on the right of your screen should never be yellow. As soon as it is, you should be putting one down. Coordinating strikes is a huge deal. If you can get well-placed strikes and do a good job about making sure that your enemy is constantly being bombarded, especially in that kind of push-hold situation we just saw, it does a lot. It's very important.
Now,
Can't
I don't
be
know,
stressed enough.
I don't know about the last two matches in the night, but I'm assuming tomorrow night with the teams that are lined up, we're going to see a lot more arty strikes like we just saw in that last match.
I would agree.
Well,
That is a completely reasonable assessment.
Obviously, all these matches we've seen, if someone takes a brawler setup and they have the initiative, they've won. In combination. Now, granted, not all brawl setups have won. But if you are being the aggressor and you have the brawl setups, I feel like Forest Colony sort of allows you to be able to get in close if you do it right. And so the use on like the tower, we see a lot of people go up to the tower. Well, that's actually what RD and airstrikes are really good for. Like, we haven't seen any sniping team take the tower and hold it, and that's mainly to the fact that you can just drop RD and airstrikes on it. And I know a lot of people say they're OP, and I agree they do need to be toned down a little bit, but they also do a great job at breaking up just people sniping, taking that hill, and you not being able to maneuver in on them. So I will say it does do a great job with that. And you've seen the aggressors place the arty and airstrikes behind the foes, so when the guys are trying to run, they're running right into the artillery and arty strikes, which is really good. Again, using the momentum, and it's sort of like pushing your enemies exactly where you want them, which is into the RD and airstrikes. So good use of RD and airstrikes. We have seen quite a bit. We've also seen UAVs. So not as many in these past two matches, but we have seen a few, especially by some of the lights.
One thing I'd like to ask of you, Raffle, is at the beginning you did comment that HHoD was more 007. They're technically the same thing. 007 is a team within HHoD, not HHoD in its entirety, but 007 was split at the beginning with people up on the comms tower and people down in the hills. And how do you think that push would have ended, or would they have gone for the push at all if the entirety of 007 had been up in the comms tower?
I don't know how perfect or imperfect their scouting information was. I'm assuming one of the reasons they went for that push the way they did is because they saw the mechs down low and thought that they could take it. Had all of 007 been up on that hill, I think what we would have seen is they would have had enough mechs to hold the push from BSA that came not from the canyon, or sorry, not from the tunnel, but from the canyon on the outside with Air and Arty, while the rest of the mechs could have really quickly mopped up those 3 cataphracts. So I think it could have been a much different game, but I'm assuming that they wouldn't have made that push without the knowledge they had, because that seemed like a very well-informed push. So that'd be my 2 cents on it.
Now, are we running a little bit behind schedule, Phil?
I think we're actually ahead of schedule.
We're actually
we're ahead.
scheduled for
Okay.
the half hour.
Yep.
Good,
Most
good.
of these games are everybody's rearing to go at exactly their time, so we're getting lunch pretty quick and then having to wait for the next one.
Should we run, or Darren, do you want to set up the contest and then we can give people like 20 minutes to run it, or do that later?
No, I got plenty of response last time, so that amount of time, I'm not going to talk into you like last time. I'll give a little
Well,
warning.
I mean, I was just gonna say you have time right now, so you wouldn't be talking into us.
Yeah, no, I will. Just give me a few minutes to put something together.
Okay, great, fair enough.
So we have the next
Do you
match.
want to take a 10-minute break?
Well, we have the next
I was gonna
match,
say let's take a look at the next match.
which is Smoke Adders versus Black Sheep Merc Corp. Smoke Adders, if you'd like to know more about them, obviously head over to smokeadders.com. We've got Durant Carlisle, XB, Weight of Honor, Michael Osis, Martus Gratifus, Loki, Cybersphere, Rusted Shut, ETAO, Minsk, Donnie Lins, Red Smith, and then a few reserve players as well, in which they're able to rotate in and out. There's no set. You can only bring the 12. On the other team, we have Black Sheep. Let me go ahead and pull that information for you. If you'd like to know more, head over to blacksheepmercs.webs.com. We've got Blood Talon, Eye Psycho, Dog, Apocalypse Pride, Mamushi, Split Pin, Dagger 66, Splat Shot, Bane Relic, and we've also got Arcsight, Lockdown, and Double L. So, are you guys familiar with these two teams?
I've run into Smoke Adder once or twice. I have never run into Black Sheep Merc Corp. So I'm not very familiar with either of these teams now.
So we could really see anything this next match.
Yeah, it's despite me having a slightly harder time casting games with people who I don't know very well, I really enjoy them because they're games that I don't know what to expect, and that's fun for me.
Keeps you on your toes.
Exactly. I'm hoping to see more of what we've seen so far. I don't think we've had any game that's just been wildly the same as any other game. Like, we haven't had many cookie-cutter matches where they're just like, well, everybody's doing this, same as last game. Despite the map, we've seen varying styles in play, which is a lot of fun.
We also haven't seen any blowouts, too.
Part of that is that the map choice has been set ahead of time. And when you're doing other competitions, with it being random, you have to think on your feet and sort of take what you have and improvise based on your past experience. But here, with that map choice being set, people have been able to plan ahead rather extensively exactly how they want to use their deck. I would be surprised, for example, in that last match, if BSA hadn't tried that cave push, or at least elements of it, before in their own practices. Because for most of the teams that have been serious about this, they've been scrimmaging for the past week against each other to figure out what works.
All right, guys, we're going to drop another giveaway just so that this doesn't bite into the match time at all. We did last round give away a $15 Ultimate Game Card, which is good for 3,000 MC in MechWarrior Online. We're going to do another one of those, and we're going to do the same type of contest, which is go to our Facebook page. That's facebook.com/No Guts, No Galaxy podcast. Look for the most recent post by me that says the third round and final matches for tonight, blah, 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 are starting now. In that post, make a post yourself, write a comment saying which of these two teams, which is either Smoke Adders or Black Sheep Merc Corp, you think is going to win, and then also with that, guess a number between 1 and 100, and whoever wins the right team and gets closest to the chosen number, I'll be contacting you through Facebook. So if you get a post from Darren with your code, you'll know what it's for. So good luck, everybody, and I will post this in chat as well.
Hold on, let me just go to Facebook. No, I'm just kidding.
We, of course, are not eligible.
I know. Sad. It's fine. I'm happy to just be here casting. So yeah, we're about 10 minutes out for the next game. Just coordinating with everybody, making sure that got the correct match to drop into. Everybody's got mechs, weights, and we don't get another a misdrop on a different map. So I'm looking forward to it. I am happy because I am full of food. I was running a little bit low at the end of that last series of games, and now I'm stuffed full of Chinese food, which is helping a lot. Okay.
Alright, so I'm gonna, last time we were talking about, it'd be really cool if they brought like Firebrands with AC-20s, and then we saw Jägermechs.
This match?
Yep. I think we are going to see catapults.
You thinking Lurms?
I'm thinking Jester, K2. What happens if like Cat Lance shows up? but it's not Jaeger leading it. Just tossing that out there. No, you know, obviously we know ahead of time what the maps are going